Good morning, everybody. It's Luna Bell. Y'all, one of the things when I started speaking out to my medical care professionals, I had to let them, and y'all, it may take me a minute to get to my main point. It's normally about halfway in or toward the end. Y'all, I'm from the South. We got a story to tell. Anyhow, and this is all for entertainment purposes, for TikTok 18 plus trigger warning. But y'all, when I had to understand that I was being triggered by people, by their aggressions, by their abusive behaviors, with the targeting of, and y'all, I have to call my GSers flying monkeys just to be careful because of the app and the targeting, okay? But when I started understanding that they were triggering me to get me to react to the abuse they were doing, when I started understanding and get more and more of my memories back, I had to let my doctors and everybody know, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm understanding. But what fascinated me even more was that every time they would do something abusive to trigger me, I would have a physical reaction, response within my body with illness or whatnot. And especially with my autoimmunes. And so this is when I started speaking to my doctors and all. But y'all, the one in particular I'm pointing out is when I went to the nurse practitioner, my urologist. I was peeing the red stuff, from an autoimmune. I had been triggered. And it was right after, y'all, and I know I mentioned to y'all, I have a video of, 5 men right there who were trying to intimidate me with SAN. And I shared that video receipt with the nurse, and they went and got the appropriate people and they had all the witnesses. You have to have more than one verifying and listening and documenting and everything. Now, y'all, I'm like everybody else. I want justice, and I want my judgment and all that too. But they asked me, have you filed reports? Have you told the police? One of my biggest, and I had to tell them, the obstacle is the corruption. And my family, in particular, the sister above me, she was well known as being a jailer here in our county, a corrupt one, that she actually helped. There's stories, and these are all stories from my own personal perspective of her helping an inmate escape. She lost her job there, but she's well tied in with the corruption. She knows who's who and who does what. She's named plenty of names to me. Therein lies the problem. My mama, my sister, and so many others that are involved with the corruption in this area and so much further out know way too many cops, way too many lawyers, and way too many judges. And way too many fellow blue and white members, the old banana thing. That is one of the things I faced, and I still face. And y'all, I caught myself this morning going in that old time loop again. I want my justice. And I know that people know. Why haven't they told? Why don't they step forward? They know the truth. And I caught myself going, the police know, and I know others are investigating because the fraud with insurance and whatnot with them is well known. It's seen. They're not blind to it. And I kept going. I don't want to hear they're waiting for a bigger case or they're busting and I was like, hadn't enough been done? Hadn't enough people been hurt? Y'all, Spirit took me to, when I opened my Bible this morning, and I went to Psalms 444 on my timer, Spirit took me to Psalm 82, a plea for righteous judgment. And I started reading that, 455, God stands in the divine assembly. He pronounces judgment among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? The very question I asked this morning. Talk about being humbled. You are seen and you are hurt, just like I am. My every worry, my every concern. I hope y'all saw that light. Provide justice for the needy and the fatherless. Uphold the rights of the oppressed and the destitute. Rescue the poor and the needy. Save them from the power of the wicked. Y'all, then I was taken over next to Psalm 83, a prayer against enemies. I'm going to let you read that. But the very next thing, I kept hearing the number 33, Psalm 33. And y'all, I flipped over to that. Praise to the Creator. Rejoice in the Lord, you righteous ones. Praise from the upright is beautiful. Praise the Lord with the lyre. Make music to him with a 10-string harp. Sing a new song to him. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his work is trustworthy. He loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of the Lord's unfailing love. Y'all can read that, but there's one thing in particular on the side, right here, that hit me. I don't pretend to understand the details of God's heart, but I do know that sometimes he desires that we wait in his presence until we receive his refreshment. We wait for strength. We wait for guidance. We wait for healing. Something powerful and life-giving comes through the waiting. This falls into the category of learning to trust our God of wonder and mysteries. Be patient in me is what he's telling me. Y'all, I did a post the other day, and I know I have hashtag for Justice for Bradley and AO because it applies to them as well. If you got butt hurt, well, that's your butt, okay? But y'all, that 11th hour, the last call, that's what that is. That's the last call for all of us to make that choice within all of us. And I'm going to show you the cards I pulled for this morning when I was asking Spirit. The first thing I got was nothing would come of the situation, and I pulled some tarot about it. And what it was my obsessive thoughts about justice and all. I have to give that up. I don't always understand. I just know it's coming. And that's what he's asking me, to rest in the peace and knowledge that I already know it's coming. It's already done. That's why, y'all, I don't worry about Bradley and all. I already know. I already know he's home. In my mind, it's already done. I've already seen it. Time is not linear. But then the next card, you and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. New moon this month is significant. And the next card, you are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. There's a lot of love in that. A lot of love, a lot of womanly, nurturing love. This is a time to nurture ourselves, to nurture our hearts, to make that choice, that personal choice at this 11th hour. The last card I got was the Emperor. Y'all, I've said this many times. This reminds me of the All-Father, whether you call him Odin or our Creator. Many blessings. Blessed be. Be at peace.